the last day, like on our way back to camp from the trail. You guys see me go through the hole. Maybe you haven't seen me go through the hole, but went through a mud hole. You see it went about yay high here. It didn't get far up the cover, you can see. I thought my clutch cover leaked because I cracked it when a belt let
Yeah, all of a
loose.
sudden it started spinning. It was high RPMs.
Yeah, it started slipping, so I got out of there, and next thing you know, pulled the cover, nothing came out, and some oil let out.
Yep. Yeah, we pulled the tube off the top right there, and then we looked inside there, and we're like, that's definitely not mud.
So, needless to say, the crank seal let out. I don't know why. Never seen it happen before. I hear it's kind of common. So, needless to say, there's oil everywhere. If you look in there, we have not cleaned.
We haven't
this
looked
thing
yet, I don't think. So.
No? All right, well, we haven't cleaned the machine from Tennessee yet. Got home yesterday. Everyone else came over, got their machines cleaned up. I haven't had time. So, take a look. Show them the mess. Here, look at the you can see the cover.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this thing was spotless.
Yeah.
And this is just coated. You can't go nowhere without the RPMs being skyrocketed right now.
You mean you didn't, it's not that color on purpose?
No. No.
So, needless to say, he's bombing through the trails on the way back, doing probably, I don't know, 35, 40 miles an hour.
To get my speed
Just try to get,
to
get your speed up, and then we pull him the rest of the way once we get up the difficult trail.
Took about 15 minutes to get to the road from the trail, through the trail to the road. Got there, hooked to the OG, pulled back to camp, got back, figured out what it was real quick. We pulled the cover there. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna put the cover back on, wash the machine, get the machine cleaned up,
Yep.
and then we're going to pull the clutches, pull the inner clutch housing, show you guys how to change this seal from Warranty Killer Performance, and waiting on the parts to get here right now, so it'll give me plenty of time to get what I got to get done, and once it gets here, we'll get this show on the road.
Sounds good.
I think the crank seal let go, which then poured the engine oil on the primary, the secondary, and the belt.
Yep.
Wanted to slip, didn't want to go. So, from what I gather, the correct way to change the crank seal is to take the motor out, take it apart, and remove the seal and install a new seal from inside the block. One company that I found, Warranty Killer Performance. They're out of, I think, Louisiana. Sell a lipless seal and a seal protector. So I guess if you shred a belt, the strands from the belt slapping around in there could take out the crank seal. And I have seen machines where 200-300 miles, you know, they're getting their crank seal replaced. And I know some people that have done this to their machine, or actually a dealer that actually did this. So I called them as soon as we got back, ordered this up, got it coming, and basically it's a lipless seal that can be installed from the outside of the motor, but you have to pull your primary, your secondary, you have to pull your inner clutch housing, pull that off, and then you can get to the old seal. The old seal has a lip that's keeping it retained on the inside of the block, and you have to very carefully pull it out. And from what I've read and seen, the best way to get it out is with a seal puller.
Okay.
They say basically, and I'll go through the directions and double check everything, but they say basically you're going to knock the edge of the seal down with a screwdriver, which will then pull that back lip down, and from, if I remember correctly, it was pulling it apart in multiple pieces.
Okay.
But you could really scratch.
Sounds good in theory.
You could scratch the crank. You could scratch the block. You could really mess things up if you're just going crazy. So you got to be really careful. This is like, it's either this We're a week after this trip, or what, 3 months for the dealer to get it done?
Yeah, probably.
Because it's under warranty, but warranty killer performance is going to kill that warranty.
There you go.
No. But I told you it was a oily mess.
It was a mess for sure.
So, case of brake cleaner here. Brake cleaner is really expensive right now, so I just ordered this on Amazon because my normal stuff's like 60, 80 bucks a case. This was 36 bucks. Got that. Got a whole bunch of rags. Got the clutch puller, transmission alignment tool. I've never used this one. Hopefully it works. And we're going to go from there. I guess we'll go ahead and show you this. Alright, so this is a lipless seal. And this is the seal protector. Let's see how that lines up. It does line up pretty close there to where it wouldn't really let much in there. But they sell this separately. You could buy this, I think it's $110.
Okay.
And then you can buy this for like...
So the cover's separate?
$99.
Okay.
But if you think about all the money you're saving not having to split your block if you don't have a warranty, that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
So, that's why we went down this road here. It does look like it has some instructions. And I will go through that and, yeah, see it says tools needed. Flat blade screwdriver, small hammer, fine emery cloth, towel, estimated install time, 1 to 2 hours. And then it jumps right to steps 1. Start tapping on seal towards the crankshaft with your flat tip screwdriver. So we will get to that point. And
yeah, we will be your guide.
You can just watch it here firsthand.
There you go.
Alright, so I went ahead and just released this so we can get the belt out, but just look on the back of the sheath there.
Yep.
I mean, this thing
It's a big oily mess. So you guys seen us do this before. You're releasing the secondary.
Man, the belt's never slid out that easy right off of there between that.
You just keep it oiled up, you'll be good to go.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I know this. Like, obviously it's got oil all over it. I don't know that it's even possible to be cleaned. But, getting back, I had some smoke rolling out of the back end of this thing. It was either catching on fire or I was burning the belt pretty bad. So, I would say this one's probably
donezo.
Toast. Look at that. Just touching the belt.
Yep.
So, we're going to go ahead and pull these two off. I'm not going to clean them on the machine. And, to be honest, I'm not going to even clean that clutch cover because I'm just going to put my new one on there because this one's already been cracked. So, I have that already here. I'm going to go ahead and get this stuff pulled apart and I'll show you that. Pretty nasty overall.
Yeah, no, it's a mess. So I still see people struggle with these primaries. And you get yourself a good impact and a good puller. And there she goes. The first puller I bought, I bent that thing all up.
It got bent up bad, but this one's done good. Where'd you get it from?
I think that's an EPI. So that one's been good.
Let's see.
So don't make my mistake and go to eBay or Amazon or whatever and buy a puller. Buy something decent. I still see people with their bread tricks and their water tricks, and you just buy a
That thing is nasty.
good electric impact and you're good to go.
I'm getting grease all over my machine that still needs washed again.
Well, I guess it still needs washing. You're 8 hours deep into it already.
Hey,
That's what these mud trips do.
a lot better. Listen, you seen me dodging every water hole until the last little bit there.
Yep.
And I just had to show that Honda up, and you guys seen it firsthand. Went right through it.
It was all worth it, right?
I don't know about that. Well, who's to say? Would this have done it 20 minutes later without going it through the water hole?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just hope it was my crank seal.
Yep, we'll find out.
All right, so we'll point out the other side. You guys have already seen us pull this cover off, but most of that bolt, this bolt here, this bolt here, and there's one more around here. They're 18s. This one is a 15. It's way back in there. What you can do is take a 15 millimeter crow's foot, and you can get right in there. We fought it with wrenches the last time, but crow's foot made it come off really easy. So that makes the cover not that big.
Yeah, if you guys need any pointers on doing this, one of our first videos, I'll go ahead and put it in the end of this video. We did a clutch cover. That was like one of our first videos we did. So if you guys need a hand with that,
you can show them on the other side which bolt
it
is.
Okay.
So that one right there is the one you can use the crow's foot for. The rest of them shouldn't be too bad. So we're gonna go ahead and buzz these out. All right, so these 3 bolts go right around the crank. They're 10 millimeters. These were thread locked in. There is 3 of these. They have a washer, and they're a T45 Torx.
That's it.
And then,
that's the other ones that you see around the primary.
And that's these.
Yep.
And then there is this one, and this one and this one is 16 on this side and 18 nut on the other side. These are 15s and 15s. They've got 15 nuts on the other side. So you can go ahead and just try to remember where they came from, because you're gonna need them big boys. Go back where they came from. They're only going to go really one spot, so.
It's just, if you guys go to do this job, it's going to be easier with an extra set of hands. That way you got someone on the back side.
So you got to be careful, because your wiring tucks in to your discharge, and around here your wiring harness clips into the back of some of these holes, which already popped loose. But, oh, my bolt's still hanging us up. There it goes. Come on. Alright, there we go. Now, the last time we did this, we didn't know that we had to realign the motor, and we did this on 3 machines and never had a problem, never had a belt problem.
But we were supposed to realign it.
Yes.
We never had a problem out of it, but
we never had a problem out of it. Now, we didn't know that. Obviously, we're learning. But we do have an alignment tool. It says it's for this machine. We'll see if it works. Alright, so we pulled the cover. You can for sure see it's the crank. Obviously we know that because the engine oil is low. But you can see her.
Yeah, you can see her trickling out of there. Maybe not on camera, but
there's very little down here.
Yeah, it's
but before we
there.
go ahead and peel that out and get started on that, I'm going to try to clean this up here. I don't want any part of that in my motor. Alright guys, so as you've seen, we spent a little bit of time here, some brake cleaner, a little scrub brush, and some air, and got the main mounting surfaces cleaned up pretty good. Got the newest piece of my machine cleaned up, which would be this transmission.
yeah.
And gonna go ahead and gather some tools, and I guess we'll start pulling this bad boy out. Alright, so in the directions, obviously, he wants you to push the seal down towards the crank, but don't hit the crank. You don't want to nick this, and you don't want to nick this, because that's what the seal seals on. You're going to have to push down, because behind here is a lip that this seal is being retained with. And so we're going to try to knock this down a little bit and get us some room, and then I'll try to get in there with that puller. But this is the longest part of the whole job, is getting this out and making sure you don't mess up anything. So we're going to go ahead and give it a go. And it is a metal reinforced seal, so it's going to be kind of tough. And it kind of takes a little bit to get it moving, but you can see it's walking down. And basically what you're doing is you're pulling the lip down in the back. So the lip is coming down. We're just going to keep walking this down. Trying to get us some access to this behind here. It is tough for sure.
Don't worry, Tim, it's only your seal around your motor. No pressure.
Yeah, thanks. Alright, so unfortunately we didn't turn the camera on quick enough because it's been moving, but it didn't mean it was coming out, you know. Basically we just took and, as you've seen on time lapse, we hit around the top half of the seal and knocked it down and just kept fishing a screwdriver back behind it and tried to use the seal puller. I don't know if that's
You're probably better off with just a small flathead screwdriver.
And to be honest, I don't know how you can do this job and not put some sort of mark on something. Do I think I hurt anything? No, I don't think I hurt anything. But I do have a little mark right up here where I was messing with a screwdriver. But that's why I say use light emery cloth in the directions, you know, to try to clean that up. You're not supposed to move metal and take a whole bunch out, but I don't think I touched the crank. But I am going to go in here and clean this up just a little bit right here. And there's some oil relief ports for like the main bearing. We need to double check with some like maybe torch tip cleaners or something. Make sure that, because if those get plugged for some reason, there'll be a lot of pressure here is what I read. So
make sure everything's clear.
Yeah, I'm going to find something to clean this up with, and then I'll double check the directions and I'll fill you guys in on that. And I need to make sure that there isn't, I've never seen a stock seal, so like there's a lip right here, but it ain't crazy big. And I don't see like this is just really hard metal. Like I can't even flex it. So maybe this is the lip that they're talking about. And it would make it to where you'd have to install it from the backside. I figured like a front main seal on a transmission of a car where it had a ring around it, you know, and you're trying to pull that ring out. But we'll go ahead and get what I need going here, and then we'll show you that. Alright, so I got the seal cleaned up for the most part. It says, so right here and right here is an oil relief port, and like the silicone from the case can plug that up, and that's your main bearing. And what happens is if this get plugged up, it can't return your engine oil because right here this is fed at high pressure oil, and it can't relief back into the bottom of the motor.
It just creates pressure,
and it blows out that seal too as well. So they, this is something that they highly recommend doing, and they say just take a torch tip cleaner and poke around in there and make sure it's clear. So I'm trying to figure it out here with you because little unsure. The directions are pretty straightforward, but it looks like this curves around and goes that way. So I'm going to try to get in there. Alright, so here's a real fine piece of emery cloth. You can find this just about anywhere, but this is all I have left. But I went and cleaned them burrs and took a torch tip cleaner and stuck it up into the 2 oil relief ports, made sure those were clean. Everything on this end looks pretty good. So I got the new seal. I showed you what the other one had a lip right here. Mm-hmm. This one does not have a lip. So this one is as wide as the other seal before the lip. That one's got a lip length more, should I say. Mm-hmm. It's just that much wider. As wide as the lip, it's that much wider. So basically this seal, you're going to take a little bit of oil. You don't have to, but put a little oil on here to where it slides over the crank, and then you're just going to tap it in until it's flush with the aluminum ring there.
Okay.
You don't push it all the way in. So I'm going to go ahead and lube this up, and we'll start tapping this thing in there. We'll show you that. Alright, so I got a little lube on here.
I don't even know if you're going to have to tap it. Ugh. Oh, no, it's getting a little firmer.
Oh, yeah.
Just give it a tap. Give it a tap.
All right, happy.
I'm surprised you caught that one.
Well, now that I know you're doing little movie phrases. Alright, so there's that. The crank seal's in. You could take and wipe off this seal, which in the old trans I replaced one, but since this is a new trans I ain't had to do nothing. But if you always check your clutches and stuff, you'll notice if you see like dirt collecting where the oil's leaking from, you know?
Yeah.
And you'll be able to catch it before it blows out and is a big problem. But I mean, you guys got to think this had a new clutch put on it not that long ago, and there was no leaking, so it just like let go. And inside the seal, it really didn't look like it was crazy worn, but who's to say? And hopefully this takes care of the problem and we're good to go. That's lubed up to where when it starts spinning, it can get some oil there before it, like, I don't know, maybe rips the seal or something. I'm going to go ahead and, I guess, start getting the new inner clutch housing cover on. And there's a few parts that got to come off the other one and go on this. I'm not going to show that. You guys will just see it assembled. Oh, we do got an inner ring. Let's see how that goes on. Alright, so you guys seen the seal went in. Here's the protector cover, dust seal protector. I don't know what you want to call it. I know you want to have this on there, so maybe a protection cover. They sell it with or without, but they say in the directions that you can put it on without silicone or with silicone. It's not recommended either way. So I just went ahead and put some silicone on the back side, and I'm going to wipe this off and double check that we're flush. Feel flush. Wipe this down. And we're going to slide this on. What sucks is you'll never see this again.
Yeah.
I don't think you can see it through.
I don't think so, yeah. I don't see how you could. But everybody that watches this video will see it.
Oh, it does push on there pretty tight.
I was going to say, it looks like it's on there nice.
No, I mean, before the seal, it just got to a dead stop, and I just pushed a little bit more. It, like, clipped around that ring. It fits on there perfect. And you can't see none of the seals, so it's like a perfect fit. So, and it looks cool. Just too bad you ain't going to be able to see it.
Yeah.
Once you get everything put back together. Now, one thing I had a question, but the inner cover has a foam, like a filler, that I think goes in that spot. So I don't know if we can put it on and
I guess
use
we'll find out.
So there's unanswered questions like, They don't tell you how to take the cover off, stuff like that. Obviously, we've already done that, so we know how it comes apart. But for your reference in the directions, it doesn't say nothing about pulling this cover off. All it does is just basically tells you how to pull the seal out, put it back in, and
luckily we got a couple videos on that. So if you guys got any questions.
But I will say that if this takes care of the problem and you ain't got to split the motor to do this, I will say it's well worth doing, because I have a warranty. But like I said, it's going to take them 3 months probably to get it done, and who's to say they can get the parts? So if this takes care of it, I'll be happy, and there you go. There's you guys another product that you guys can use in the future.
There you go.
I wouldn't mind. I don't know if we could do this on the side of a trail. It'd be kind of.
I would probably say let's at least get it cleaned up back at the camp or something.
Well, no, I meant back at camp.
Yeah.
But, like, it'd be kind of nice maybe to have one of these seal kits sitting in the toolbox, to where if this ever happened to
you could
turbo machine
day one of a 4-day trip, you don't ruin your whole trip.
Yeah, we potentially could do this in the campground parking lot.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure we can go to parts stores and find brake cleaner and silicone if we didn't have it, which normally I have that with.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we could probably get the job done. Got all this cleaned up. You want to go ahead and show them that?
Sure.
The last time you guys seen this cover come off,
everything looks good in there.
last time you guys seen the cover come off, it was pretty nasty. Now, this is my new inner cover, but these are the same clutches, and this is the same outer cover.
Yep.
But I will say that I pressure washed this, and it didn't budge it. I'm saying I sprayed a bottle of Awesome on it, pressure washed it, it barely did anything. So after pressure washing it and using Awesome, I had to get Dawn dish soap and like just lather it on there.
We need to set up a Dawn foam cannon.
Yes. And then a scrubber and scrub this whole case out. These, I'm going to say, if this ever happens to you guys, you need a case of brake cleaner. I have 2 cans and a half a can left. And then I went through probably 4 bottles of Awesome. What I did is, I didn't want to do it because there is a bearing in there, but I took and disassembled this clutch, pressure washed it, Awesomed it, pressure washed it, and then after I felt that it was pretty good and clean, and you still have like a residual grease, I wiped all that off. I came back with brake cleaner, heavily brake cleaned it, because the brake cleaner will go in there and help dry out any water or moisture that might have gotten the bearing. And then this one was nothing, you know, it came apart just like that, and I just cleaned it. It wasn't like the end of the world, but
so everything's cleaned up.
I will say it's a nasty mess.
Yeah.
And it probably took me 2 hours to clean all this up.
Yeah.
So now all this is cleaned up. The oil is changed. I did fire it up. I don't have any leaks. I gave it a little gas, let it get up to temp, stuff like that, and it seems fine. So we're gonna go ahead and start assembling this. I wiped off my primary bolt and my secondary bolt, but I want to go ahead and wipe off the other bolts because all we did is spray them off with brake cleaner. So I just want to make sure those are clean, and then we'll show you this going back together. Even though this isn't an inner clutch housing install, but
we actually didn't show this part on the last one.
no, we didn't, because we didn't have one, and I'll show you why here in a second. But this bolt, this bolt, this bolt, and these 3 bolts around the crank can be tightened up as long as you line it up around the transmission and you get all your other bolts in. And why that is because that locks this cover to this inner housing, and your adjustment is going to cut. Really, I think is going to come out of this bolt, and then when you tighten them all down, it'll hold it in place. But here we are. We got this side tight. These are just slid through. They don't even have nuts on the backside yet, but this slides in and out. Everything spins. I got that hand tight in there, but you can see obviously it moves. So I don't know how true and accurate this style transmission alignment tool is, it was only like 30-40 bucks. The one I wanted is a double bar system. It's got sleeves for each individual machine that slide over this, slide over the crank, and then you have 2 of these bars, which are really big and heavy duty and really hard to be not accurate. It would be, you know what I mean? It'd be easier for something this small to be incorrect, but
comes with a much steeper price.
Yeah, a lot steeper price. So here you are with this. It slides in and out, so you know that it's true. Now, when you go to tighten up these bolts, that might change. We didn't do it the last time, and our machine ran fine for 1,500 miles before I pulled the clutch off again.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm not going to say that this is necessarily needed for this style. Now, older units, you really had to align the transmission.
Probably had a bit more fudge room.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and get the nuts on the backside and start tightening this down and make sure that this stays true. All right, so Will wants to try something. None of those bolts, except for on the engine side, have been tightened down. So everything has no nuts, hasn't been tightened down. I'm going to pull the primary bolt out. I'm going to take that tool off. And we're going to go ahead and put all the nuts and bolts on and lock it down, and then see.
Then we're going to try it.
If the bar slides on and off like it's supposed to.
It's a bit of a experiment to entertain you guys, I guess.
But we didn't do it the first time.
Yeah.
And we still technically haven't aligned anything with this tool. So
yeah.
we can take it off, tighten it up just like we did the last time, and then see if it fits.
There you go.
We went ahead and tightened up the bolts. Now let's grab this alignment tool and see where we're at. So as of right now, I'm going to tell you that
it looks perfect.
I'm going to go ahead and thread this in because this takes away the movement of the bolt.
Don't get no better than that.
Like I said, I don't know how much I trust that tool, but I'd rather have a double.
Yeah.
But this is the same way it was last time. The machine worked perfect.
I guess if you guys get done with this and you guys are popping belts, maybe look into getting this tool and make sure everything's aligned properly. But just for experimental sakes, we didn't really need it.
And we were told we did, and I thought that maybe it might have been misaligned after I got a trans put in, and I checked it then, and it was fine. Just fine. Now, is that the play in this tool? I don't know, but I don't see.
Pretty tight. I mean, it's not super tight, but it's pretty tight.
It's pretty tight. Yeah, no, for sure. But I don't know that it's really going to matter. Like, if it's pretty straight all the way out both shafts, is it really going to turn your clutches enough just to rub?
Yeah.
Your belt? I don't know. All right, guys. So we got the primary on. We got the secondary on. I'm getting ready to put the belt on. Did torque the primary down to 96
foot-pounds, yep. I think it was 40 on the secondary.
40 on the secondary. And then, yeah, I mean, it's back together. I think we obviously started it already. I haven't started it since we put the clutches on there, but I think the Warranty Killer Performance seal deal's kind of where it's at in this type of situation.
Yeah, how do you beat it? Because otherwise you're pulling the motor apart.
Yeah, no, I mean, they said it could take an hour, you know. In there it said an hour to 2 hours, and I was talking with somebody, and basically they said it could take an hour, it could take 2 hours getting that seal out. It just depends on how easy it comes out.
It depends on how nasty it is, too. I mean, you spent a couple hours just cleaning.
Well, that we're not even talking about that.
Yeah, just the
but that was just changing the seal. That wasn't pulling all these clutches off or nothing like that. So what I gather from it is I don't know if you could do the job without making some sort of mark or indentation on the aluminum. So I wouldn't be worried about the crank. Granted, if you smoked it with a hammer or a chisel or something or a screwdriver, you could put a nick in it, but it's hardened. The aluminum is very soft. So I would just say the top half of the seal, like I showed you, just take a flat blade screwdriver and just tap it down. Now, it is reinforced metal, like it says in the directions. It is some tough stuff. So just try to get that top lip down.
Yeah, just take your time with it.
Take your time and just try to get back behind it and pull it forward. But if it come to splitting a block or doing this, promise you I'll be doing this again.
Yeah.
So and it went in there tight. So like, let's say the first 16th of the seal slid in there pretty easy. You seen where I pushed it in with fingers, and then like, let's say the last eighth or whatever of, you know, thickness had to be hit in, you know, had to be knocked in there. So it's seated in there tight. I don't really think we'll have any problems out of that. And I did look at the other seal, the old one, and I didn't really see where like it could have let go from.
Well, we got enough Polarises in the group that I think we need to get one of these as a backup.
We do have too many Polarises. But I mean, that's what we got. So eventually that'll change. But that's the end of this video. Like, share, subscribe. Check out social media, you know, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Check out our website, UTV Outlaws, 2S's.com.
No, UTV Outlaw Store, 2 S's.
Man, I keep messing that up. Store, 2 S's. For some merch, different stuff like that.
Yeah, we're going to be releasing some new stuff here coming up real short.
We're changing things on there. We're getting ready to put some new pictures and stuff up there from trips we've done so far this year. And, yeah, thanks. We appreciate it. Going to the side-by-side blog race, track takeover or whatever it is.
Yep.
And got our budget street racer here.
Budget build we got here. We got ourselves some $80 slicks. They're like, I don't know, maybe 30-inch tall, maybe 9.5-inch wide.
15s.
Yeah, 15-inch wheels. So Tim had some bead locks, so we put those on that. And then we had my old buffs, so you guys probably noticed I got SS 360s now on the front for sand. So I got my old buffs here. I'm just going to run those on the front.
And some rear Polaris.
Yeah, some rear Polaris stock wheels, yep. So we're just doing a budget build. We're just going out here, have a little fun at the drag strip, hang out with some people, and we'll see how this goes.